We are tonight's entertainment.
You can't handle the truth.
The fire rises.
Pizza time.
You're a wizard, Harry.
So it begins.
You know how much I sacrificed?
You think that's air you're breathing?
Groovy.
I don't have friends. I got family.
We are Sex People! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Craft Services.
Hey, Trent.
Hi, Parth.
It's good to see you.
You too, man. What's up?
You're looking well.
You too. We have a movie podcast.
Trent, you're so low energy all of a sudden.
I'm back, baby. What's
There
up?
we go.
Hey
Oh.
now. What have you been eating?
Well, Trent, it's early in the morning, and we're recording early in the morning because I have to go home to pick up some stuff from my parents' house. And so, if you can even believe it, I've got my morning chai in a coffee mug that friend of the show, Sophia Alexis, uses for the most part. I usually drink mine out of a normal mug. But see, I put my chai in this coffee mug because I thought I was going to drink the chai on the road, and then I realized we hadn't recorded this intro and needed to record this intro. So I've now just drank it while sitting at my desk. What about you, Trent?
I'm doing my own version of that. I just have a mason jar full of like pre-made coffee from a big jug thing from the grocery store because I like how coffee makes me feel, but somehow I'm too lazy to make it.
Trent, in reference to last week's episode, you made a whole thing about how you used to love Ensure and you would drink it constantly and your mom had to prevent you from drinking more than one when you were sick. And I had a similar story in that my mom realized I was drinking like 4 a day if left to my own devices. And you said that a thing of 6 cost $20. Is that true?
It's true. Or the overpriced grocery store I shop at, like, I know Ensure is overpriced everywhere, but yeah, 6-pack of the normal is like $16, and then I get the Ensure Plus, and that's $20.
There's just a plus on everything nowadays.
But I think, like most things, over the past month, I like sort of overindulged in it, and then that's how you get something out of your system.
Sure.
Is like I'm sort of done with it now because I abused it for a minute there as a meal replacement system. But then I sort of realized like it's for like sick people and like cancer patients and people who want to put on weight, and I'm like, I don't want to
do any of these things. And so why am I doing this? Just because I'm too lazy to like make a meal. Well, then it might be good that you weren't with me yesterday, because yesterday I did some Costco shopping, and I felt like a man because I bought, a big jug of dish soap to replenish the small bottle that we have. I bought toilet paper because we finally ran out, and got a bunch of snacks, got a bunch of, just stuff. And I felt like, wow, I'm really grocery shopping. And I got some allergy medicine for when the pollen starts coming back in the air. 365 tablets for $11, no big deal. I know it's deeply like capitalistic, but isn't there something like really satisfying just like going out and spending money and buying things you need? Well, I wouldn't say I was in a bad mood walking into Costco, but I wasn't in a good mood. But walking out of Costco, I was happy as a bee. Is that a saying? Happy as a clam? There it is. I don't know why the clams, or I guess clams sort of look like they're smiling. I don't think people say happy as a bee. Well, maybe walking in, I was happy as a bee, as in not really that happy. Sure. But while I was in Costco, I saw a whole big pack of Ensures. And part of me was like, what if I bought this as a bit, and then the next time I see Trent, I gift him with it. But I just didn't do that. I think it was like 24 or something like that. I like the chocolate if you want to follow through with this bit. Yeah, I mean, like, to be clear, I didn't end up buying. How much was it? Like $40? I think it was like $20, $25. Well, yeah, Costco is affordable. Costco's the GOAT. Parth, you hear that the GOAT debate is settled because Michael Jordan, like, sort of grabbed that kid's butt? What? Is this, what? What is this bit? It's not a bit, unfortunately. Oh, did Michael Jordan do something bad? We can edit this out. It's like in debate of what happened, but yeah, there's like video of him at an event, and it supposedly like ice was poured like over a group of people, and then Michael Jordan is like pulling at the shirt and pants of this little boy,
and without context, it looked really bad, and people were like all upset, and they were like, the GOAT debate is settled. LeBron is awesome.
Wow.
And then like some people came out with more context, and they were like, he was getting the ice out of the shirt, and it wasn't weird.
I haven't seen anything about this, so I sort of feel like this isn't going to catch on. But if it did, it would just really ruin my experience of rewatching Air.
Is Michael Jordan canceled? Michael Jordan is not canceled.
All right.
Look
at that.
That's what the AORB has to say.
You know what else isn't canceled?
Oh, Craft Services Podcast?
Let's cue the intro, baby. Welcome back to Craft Services, where we talk about the movies. Each week we talk about a film and hopefully have a crew member of that film to talk with us about their experience working on the picture. This week, we're continuing our interview with...
Wait, composer Jerskin Fendrix? Wait, who his only 3 movies ever he's composed for were Yorgos Lanthimos' last 3 movies, and 2 out of 3 of which he's been nominated for like best score, including this one for Bugonia, which we interviewed him for. Right now, this is part 2 of the interview. And then it's like the Oscars are coming up, and like maybe he'll win since he's nominated. And so like we're rooting for him. And so you can do like the Craft Services triple parlay.
The Polymarket bet.
On Polymarket or Kalshi right now. Download and use promo code Craft Services. And you can bet on Jerskin Fendrix to win best score. You could bet on Autumn Gerald Arkapaw to win for Sinners for cinematography. And Parth to cap it all off. You can bet Fiona Crombie for production design. Plus 1,600. Don't bet any more money than you're comfortable with losing.
I'm going to stop right there. I think you should bet the bank. Whatever you've got, put it all in. You're going up or down with Craft Services.
Use promo code Craft Services.
But to get back to reality, you do tell in this part of the interview, this is part 2, part glue, as it were, and you basically say to Jerskin, so the first thing you ever composed was nominated for an Oscar? And he's just like, yeah, I guess so. And you're like, all right. And yeah, we really liked Jerskin Fendrix's vibe. He was very cool. He was very funny, very dry sense of humor, and a very good guest, I would say. Would you concur, Trent?
I concur. Good guest, fun interview.
Handsome man, as you call him.
Fun, charming guy. Did I call him handsome in the interview?
You called him handsome, and I was like so taken aback.
What's the context?
He reveals he was in the movie, and then you're like, oh, you look weird, I'm sure, in that, but here you look like a handsome man. And it made him smile. So it was all kosher. It was not taken poorly.
On Yorgos Lanthimos' Instagram the other day at some awards that I should know, he posted like a bunch of fun like blurry photos, and I believe our friend from this interview, Jerskin Fendrix, was in one of them.
It's true.
Like looking all fancy in a tux. So we hope that went well. We wish all of our Craft Services guests luck at the upcoming Oscars.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Good vibes in the air, and including and notably for you, Jerskin Fendrix. So should we just quit our babbling? You know?
We should quit our babbling and allow Mr. Fendrix to babble. Cue the interview. You now have like sort of an established relationship with Yorgos. Has your relationship evolved in any way that you've seen, or have you tried to like make each project different, or do you just sort of take his lead and, you know, see where the process goes?
I think we have an unspoken thing where he knows I'm probably going to try extremely hard to never repeat myself at all. And I think there's always an amount of, I think, my voice in whatever kind of music I write, usually by, like, I just think a lot of the musical decisions are deliberately the dumbest possible decision given a circumstance. But I think in a lot of ways, Poor Things and Kinds of Kindness and Bugonia all sound really, I think they sound different, but they have the same, like, yeah, they have the same dumbassness behind them. The relationship is just knowing what each other is capable of, knowing what I'm capable of, and knowing what Yorgos wants more and more. The majority of the feedback tends to be just yes or no. And I think the ratios of yeses to nos have become gradually higher over the 3 projects. So that's probably the best indicator.
You said there was a 90-piece orchestra for conducting of the score. How do you oversee that?
With a stick?
Oh, well, literally.
Yeah, with a conducting band. Yeah, we had 2 days. We had 6 hours per day. So 12 hours to record the whole thing. I could be slightly off on that. But
and you didn't go back and re-record or rebuild or anything? It was just those 2 days by that point?
No, it was just 2 days to do it. Yeah, I mean, before we recorded, like I made a bunch of fairly detailed demos, like MIDI demos of the pieces to show to Yorgos. Because like orchestral days with a 90-piece orchestra, to be honest, they were just very expensive. So it would have been annoying and stupid of me to record anything without, like, I've done for Kinds of Kindness, I recorded the whole thing without him hearing, and like that was a small enough budget to take a gamble on. This was too much money to take a gamble on. And so we did 1 day of recording, and then the second day, it was basically just the pieces we didn't have time to do the first day. There's probably a couple where a piece was butchered to such an extent in order to jam into the edit that it made more sense to just quickly re-record it rather than have to like go to the extent of getting into the sound files and really chiseling them away. But generally, that was 12 hours was barely enough time to record every single piece of music once with rehearsal and going through certain bits. A lot of the music was quite hard to play. I didn't really think too much about playability when I was writing. Then you get the woodwind of the brass players saying that they can't keep playing the same note at like the top of their range over and over for 2 continuous minutes, which is annoying, but true. So it took a while to get the pieces to come to shape. Not like they are. The London Contemporary Orchestra are a really, really good orchestra. I'm just not great at thinking about whether a piece of music can actually be played or not. This was probably the main roadblock. Yeah.
And so how long were you, like, from beginning to end, how have you been working on Bugonia?
So I think it was probably about mid 2022. No, mid 2023, I was told about it. This was like probably a month or 2 before Poor Things came out in Venice. And then, then the next year they were shooting that summer, yeah. So wrote that year, and then it was mixing, editing, all that kind of stuff. So between mid 2023 to mid 2025, that's covering all the editing, the mixing, making the soundtrack album, about 2 years.
So if the 90-piece orchestra was like a huge upgrade, how big was the recording operation for your first 2 movies with Yorgos?
Kinds of Kindness, we had a 24-part choir provided by London Voices, a cappella choir, who were great. That was also music I really did not consider how difficult it was to sing. They took it like a champ, and then it was just me playing the piano for a while in the afternoon. We did that all in 1 day, which was cool. Poor Things, it was about, I played most of the violins and keyboards and stuff for Poor Things. We got on people for like woodwinds and percussion, basically. But due to the fact that a big point of Poor Things was that there was so much processing and surgery and effects on each instrument to do with like slowing things down, pitch changes, different forms of distortion. You can't do that individually to a group of people. So we had to record every single instrument separately. So we had half a day with each instrument, and the whole thing took about a week or 2. So half a day with bassoon, half a day with contrabassoon, half a day with percussion, half a day with flute, and so on and so forwards. And it was really hard. Like, basically they had to play by themselves over this kind of really shitty MIDI track. And then we had to mix. It's a lot harder to mix tons of instruments separately and mash them together and make them feel good than it is to just put them in a good sounding room and put a SM57 out. So that Poor Things, I made life so difficult for myself unnecessarily. Yeah. But then, so like conducting night, I didn't conduct the choir either because of various reasons, but I conducted this orchestra, and that was scary because conducting is hard and every second counts when you're spending that much money.
Moving forward, is there a kind of genre or tone that you want to specifically score for?
I mean, I do what I'm told usually. It's a good question. I think the main thing I'd be scared of is being, and this can happen, pigeonholed in terms of, here's a guy who does the weird stuff for the weird art house directors, so let's give him some other weird art house directors, and he'll keep doing weird stuff that's a bit surreal or a bit or Turi or whatever. I'm working with like the best guy in the world who does this kind of stuff. And working with anyone else like that would honestly be, I don't see how it couldn't be anything other than a disappointment. So I'd love to do something, I'd love to do like a real classic rom-com. It doesn't seem like they make classic rom-coms in the same way, but I've been watching a lot of like, 10 Things I Hate About You and A Knight's Tale and this kind of thing. I'd love to do something like that. It would have been very funny to do a Marvel film maybe 10 years ago. It is no longer funny to do a Marvel film, so I'm not going to do that. It would have been very fun. I'm kind of missed the boat. If I was here 5-10 years earlier, I could have done Barbie and it would have been great. I'd love to do a film like a very, very synth-heavy, intense sort of thing. I don't know, cartoons, whatever. I think the main, it's just I'm just very careful of becoming pigeonholed. Basically, it's gonna become very fossilized very quickly if I don't break out of that a bit. I don't know.
If you consider the music you're making for the Yorgos movies a tad weird, how would you describe your original music that you put out just under your name?
Also a tad weird. I mean, to be honest, like I'm just kind of taking the lead on this. Bugonia is not that weird of a score. It's actually like you look at other orchestral pieces of music. Bugonia is pretty tame. It's pretty traditional. I think a lot of journalists seem to have like a kind of armory of adjectives that they just whip out anytime. Like when Wes Anderson does something, they've got their system of adjectives for Wes Anderson and for Yorgos and for whoever. And it's like the Bugonia score is pretty non-experimental. Like you listen to Xenakis, you listen to John Adams, you listen to Stockhausen. I'm not doing anything massively weird with an orchestra here. Pretty dated.
Right. I mean, it's almost like what's weird about it is how normal it is, as in a lot of ways. It's very traditional sounding in a way that we don't get in scores. Just like on a personal note, is what you listen to correlated to what you make? Like, are you attracted to scores that sound in the vein of what you create, or like is it just like a completely different side of the brain for you?
It's the same side of the brain, but like the only score I've really properly listened to in a while has been the Marty Supreme score, which is just great. And Daniel will tell you as well, like that's not particular. It's it's great and it's got a lot of amazing compositional ideas, but it's not crazy. Like it's it's covered ground. It's not particularly experimental. It's just a really, really great set of compositions with the sort of toolbox Daniel uses with a bit of choral and orchestral stuff added on top of it. I don't know what scores would not. This isn't me tooting my own horn or anything, but like I love listening to some stuff. I love listening to the Disney scores. I listen to Hunchback of Notre Dame and Mulan a great deal. Recently, I've basically only been listening to different versions of the Canadian national anthem. Listening to Sophie recently. Yeah, I don't know. It varies.
Do you listen to just like normal, like the Beatles and stuff?
I listen to the Beatles, yeah.
Okay, cool. I read that you made cameos in Poor Things and Kinds of Kindness. How did that come about? And can you tell us where you showed up?
I also had a cameo in Bugonia.
Ah, you did? It didn't say that. Where are you in Bugonia?
I think they tried to keep the credit list secret because I'm one of the aliens at the end. But I had a good second of screen time. I had to fully shave off my beard and have like a weave put in for it. So
and were you in the big like crochet suit?
I was in the big crochet suit. That thing was so fucking heavy, dude. And then when you stood in the goop, it absorbed the goop because it was made of this kind of horsehair thing. So your legs became like 10 kilograms each. And we had like a bunch of fucking like off-camera assistants helping, like physically moving our legs because there was my legs couldn't lift up themselves up anymore. It was great.
You were in the goop?
Yeah. We had to walk through the goop.
Huh. And did you have like a big wig of long, beautiful hair? Because they all had big, long hair.
I looked very attractive.
Yeah, I'm sure, as you do now. And where do you show up in the other two movies?
First story of Kinds of Kindness, I'm playing the piano in the Hotel Cheval in the bar. There's a good long shot of me there. And then Poor Things, there's the big dance scene in the middle of with Duncan and Bella with the kind of weird accordion music. And I had to go on set to organize that. We got about like 10 or 12 Hungarian musicians, rehearse them, and so like in all the shots the music's being played live and they're all dancing to it live, which was pretty hard to pull off. I never tried to do that before. And I'm in the middle of the instrumentalist playing this big harp made out of bike horns. So usually I'm doing something musical, nothing musical to do in the third one. So I just had to be an alien.
I guess now I'm just like, I guess you were wearing so much stuff that doesn't look like you that I wouldn't have recognized you. But like, how much of that on set was real? It's tough to tell just because of how, I mean, the effects are cool, but like intentionally odd.
It's pretty much all real. Like all the stuff you see within 30, 40 yards of the actors is 100% real. Then it's just kind of filling in a little bit of background. But like James Price, who was also working on, him and Shona did Poor Things, and then he did Bugonia. He's very, very, very good at his job. Like, it was a really astonishing.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's so good. He's so good.
So you were nominated at the Academy Awards for Poor Things, as you are for Bugonia. Can you talk about your experience attending the first time, and I guess are you hype for the second time? Like,
congratulations.
Yeah, Thank and you. I hear you got to take your mom the first time, I believe.
You got to take your mom the first time.
Got to take your mom the first. That was the best thing about the first time. Like, yeah, for BAFTAs and Oscars, like, I was lucky enough to like be able to take my mom and also my two brothers, and that's great. It's very. These things are obviously like really big honors and a really big deal for one's career, but it's very difficult to like withstand it or celebrate it. It's kind of like it's like trying to celebrate your own birthday, but like times 100. It's way easier to celebrate for other people to set, or it's easier to celebrate other people's birthdays, and it's easier for other people to celebrate you. So like if you bring your mom and your brothers along, they could be like, "This is sick! Wow, what's going on? This is surreal. It's great." But if you're there by yourself, it's like, who do you So like generally, these things are, I don't know, bizarre as much as they are exciting and very daunting. And the easiest way of getting through them is just sharing them with people, and that's like anyone who goes with you. It seems like it's like a really nice, it's like, oh my God, my son invited me to the Oscars. It's going to be so much fun. And by the end of it, it's like, fuck, there's so much responsibility to like have to go through all these things and talk to all these strangers and stand up for hours and hours in this shopping center. It's a big responsibility and obligation for someone to be your guest at these things. And it's it makes the whole thing so much easier. So like, I generally just am very thankful for anyone who decides they want to come with me.
Well, this year you'll get to see Conan live, which is,
dude, I am so fucking gassed to see Conan live. Like, that's the only thing getting me through. I've loved Conan for so long, and it's gonna be the first year I went. John Mulaney presented Best Sound, and he did like maybe
that's
the
funniest.
Awesome. Like, it was so funny, just this huge monologue about how great the film Field of Dreams was, and just explained the whole plot of Field of Dreams. And then at the end, he was like, "They should give that Best Picture, but it'll probably be one of this year's." This guy's so fucking good. Yeah, I'm so excited for Conan.
Yeah, he should host them for the foreseeable future, but that's just my take.
I'm going to work way harder at writing film scores for the period of time Conan is hosting the Oscars. As soon as he stops, I'm sacking it and I don't give a shit.
Am I correct that the first film score you wrote was Poor Things and you got nominated for an Oscar for it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
It's kind of a flex, but
it's
good.
I don't know what to
good
do
on
with that
you.
Information. It's cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's cool. Moving on. Are you working on anything else that you can talk about?
No.
Great.
Cool.
Trent, is it Big Kahuna?
This is our Big Kahuna final question.
Great.
So the Big Kahuna final question is just, what's the last great movie you watched? And it can be a first-time watch or a rewatch, but it can't just be good. It has to be great.
I watched Broadcast News for the first time a few weeks ago. My girlfriend's a really, really big Albert Brooks and James Brooks fan, and I'd never seen either of their films. And Broadcast News it's really, really good. A lot of really good lines. There was one line near the end that I just like punched the sofa for like 10 minutes afterwards, because it was so insane that someone gave themselves the permission to write it. It's when Albert Brooks is calling what's her name? Hunter? What's her name? The actor who plays
Holly Hunter?
Holly Hunter, not Helen Hunter. Holly Hunter. And they've been friends forever. And he says they need to meet up for something. And he says on the phone, "I'll meet you near that place where we went to that thing one time." And then they're just there. And it's like, fuck, you get to say everything about your relationship in that line. And it's a dumb fucking line. And like, oh my God. Broadcast News. I feel stupid for not having seen it before. It's great.
Awesome. Trent, you want to bring us out?
Thank you so much to our guest, composer Jerskin Fendrix. He's composed Yorgos Lanthimos' last 3 movies, Poor Things, Kinds of Kindness, and Bugonia, and he's nominated for Best Original Score again this year, and we're rooting for you. Good luck.
Thanks so much, guys. Really enjoyed being on.
Thanks so much to Jerskin Fendrix and your team for setting this up and having us be a part of your press junket. Parth and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been cool, like, as the show has gone on, now that we've tricked people into thinking we have an air of legitimacy, we've started to interview people that are actually nominated for Oscars, and we're part of the quote-unquote press for their awards circuit, which has become a weird thing for us, I think, that we're actually talking to high-up people on movies that we find interesting.
And probably, like, while they're talking to a bunch of other, like, cool, legitimate sources, like, in the 45-minute chunks before and after our show.
Probably significantly more legitimate sources than us.
No, well, precisely.
I mean, we've always had good guests, but it's more the recent releases have been, the last 2 years, that's all we've been doing, and I think we're pretty pleased as punch with how things have gone so far.
I'm pleased. I'm really pleased.
I'm glad you're pleased, Trent.
With how this went. Even before the interview was booked, watching Bugonia on Mega TV in my parents' basement, I was like,
"Oh, really? Is that how you saw it?"
Yeah, me and my parents watched it. I was like, "This score rocks." And then it's always fun to talk to a composer. We've only had a few of those.
Well, Trent, I have a funny little story about watching the score on a TV, or watching the movie on a TV, which is, in preparation for this interview, I watched this the morning we did the interview just to get some, more recent thoughts on it. And while I was watching it, my roommate Tom walked in, and he had seen the movie in theaters with my good friend Sophia Alexis. And while he came across me watching the movie, he had no idea I was doing the interview for the composer. And he was like, wow, this score is so awesome. And like seeing this in theaters, like when it was just like booming, like it was so awesome. And I was like, are you saying this because I'm interviewing the composer? And Tom was like, you're interviewing the composer? So that was a
nice natural occurring moment.
It was. And if Jerskin Fendrix is listening, just know that was real and true. And my roommate Tom, who has absolutely nothing to do with the film industry or the arts in general, really appreciated your work.
Cool anecdote, Parth. I really
Thanks, Trent.
enjoyed getting to hear his process a little bit. How I guess it's a little untraditional in that he just makes a bunch of cool music and then the Yorgos slots it in, and he doesn't compose for picture. And I thought that was all cool.
It was all cool. And he got to take his mom to the Oscars for Poor Things. There's a bunch of cool anecdotes that he got into.
My mom has said, if you ever go to the Oscars, you got to take me the first time.
See, that's interesting because my mom has told me if I wasn't in a relationship, it had to be her. If I was in a relationship, the first time I went to the Oscars, it had to be my wife.
My wife.
But the second time, it would have to be her. But the thing is, if you are going to the Oscars,
first time's the mom.
The thing is, if you're going to the Oscars, you are likely going to other awards shows. So I think that there's a more equitable, like you take your mom to the Golden Globes and your wife to the Oscars, or, some version of that.
I think you take your mom to whichever one she really wants to go to, and then you can take your wife to every
Trent,
other one.
But Trent, if you're married and your wife wants to go to the Oscars, you're going to tell her no?
How do I say this? Your wife and you are going to be together for like 40 more years, but like you and your mom may only be hanging out for another like 20 years.
Oh my God, Trent.
So just as like a matter of time, it makes sense to take your mom.
Wow. Doesn't your mom listen to the show sometimes?
I don't think she'd be offended by this statement.
I guess then there you go.
I think that's part of the reason she'd be like, I don't know if you're going to get nominated again, asshole.
Wow,
so,
that's true.
Because I won, I'd be lucky to be
present once.
But yeah, thank you so much. In reality, thank you to Jerskin Fendrix for coming on the show. Thank you to his team for making it happen. The show comes out every Sunday, 5 a.m., so make sure you're waking up bright and early on your weekend. Sort of sounded like Trump there. So that you can catch the early worm, as it were.
Early bird gets the podcast. It happens to be the same exact product you might experience if you woke up at your normal time.
Well, that's true. But it comes out every week on Sunday. And Trent, do we have updates anywhere?
Oh, yeah. Updates on Instagram and Twitter. And you can listen on Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, Apple Podcasts. Frankly, wherever you get your podcasts. And wait, Parth. Don't cut me off. There's more. There's more. YouTube now.
Yes.
Craft Services is on YouTube. Our old episodes are slowly uploading.
I'm getting. Look, I got another email notification that another episode has been uploaded. It's our lockdown discussion is what just uploaded. So
great. So now you can listen to our lockdown discussion. Is that still within like year one of our podcasting?
It's in 2021. We started in 2020, but we started in earnest, I would say, in 2021 is when we were like every week we're uploading episodes.
Full steam ahead.
Yeah.
I feel like even at the beginning,
we were pretty good about.
We were pretty good.
But we were uploading an episode every week, but it was not the same day every week. And it wasn't. It was more haphazard.
Okay, so Craft Services is on YouTube. You can listen to our lockdown discussion and any other episodes that also might happen to interest you before that aren't lockdown.
But producer Bash, whom we must thank, has assured us that within a month, these episodes are going to be up to date, and you're going to be able to listen to our interviews.
Come out live, essentially, on YouTube.
Live. Yeah.
And you can watch a little like wave of sound bounce whenever we talk.
It's true.
Then your like eyes and your ears will be
stimulated.
Stimulated because apparently the people want to see us. And people keep coming to me and they're like, "Oh my God, Trent, I have a crazy idea. What if you did a video podcast?"
It is sort of annoying that people think like we haven't thought of that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you think we've done a podcast for 6 years? It was 6 years of doing a podcast, and you think we didn't think, maybe there's this video part we should use.
It has crossed our mind at some point. But yeah, we're on YouTube now, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. That's pretty cool. Parth, I mean, we can't announce what we have going on next week, but it should be cool.
It should be cool.
Should be cool.
We're not in a position quite yet to confirm or deny what's happening, but
it should be cool though.
But you're looking kickable, Trent.
Parth, if I had legs,
oh wow,
you want to know what I'd do with them?
Yeah,
I'd run across town.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there you
go. Yeah, if I had legs, what I would do with them is a mystery.
Yeah.
That is
where
what
we don't
want to
reveal
because next week.
Because we have in the past confirmed something before it was set in stone and it hasn't happened, but we're feeling pretty hopeful that this one will in fact happen.
Yeah, the interview Jinx monster can like come out if you like.
Comes for us all.
It comes for us all. So like the eagle-eared listener can like go back and probably listen to.
I think our third episode, we promise a guest that doesn't come on.
We're still waiting for their email reply.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's probably a few instances of that of us doing outros and announcing things that do not ever occur.
We're sort of the OG MCU, if you will.
Do they do that?
Well, of late, their post-credit scenes have been like teasing something that just like 4 years down the road, nothing has happened with yet. Which did not used to be the case for them. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you guys will check us out next week. And Trent, any closing words?
Bye, Parth.
Bye, Trent.